everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are back again with yet another episode of Breaking into InfoSec with red teaming this time. And we have Abhijith BR with us, with whom we are going to be discussing what is red teaming and so much more around it. Thank you so much, Abhijith, for joining us today.
Hello, Vandana. Thank you so much for this invitation. And hello, everyone. I feel very good to be here.
Thank you so much. Abhijit, I know about you, but generally I ask the speakers to introduce themselves. So I would say if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I think, I don't have a very, very long bio, but, as usual, I do have more than a decade of experience in the cyber security industry. And recently we organized a village at DEFCON, which is called Advisory Village. Right now, I'm managing internal red team operations and advisory simulation for a US-based fintech.
So he's just being humble. He's been doing a lot of work around this area. And that's what we are going to discuss today. Thank you so much, Abhijit, for joining me today. It's always wonderful to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vandana.
Abhijit, I want to understand, like right now, also, you mentioned that you are setting up a team at the company that you're working for, and you've done it in the past as well. So, what is red teaming all about? Like, how can someone get into this kind of a profile, or even when they have no idea what red teaming is? So, if you can explain it a bit.
See, basically, there has been a lot of discussions and a lot of activities happening with respect to red teaming. But about the explanation, many people are using it in a different way. Like sometimes the service people, let's say the sales people, they are most of the time they are using this term incorrectly. Let's say they are also referring to pen testing and vulnerability assessments as red teams. So they sometimes mention that our internal red team will be doing vulnerability assessment for it, right? But originally, the term red team came from, from the army. There will be blue teams and red teams, and they will be trying to hold a fort, and the red team will be trying to get into that fort. So technically, in the cybersecurity world, that would be it is very, very different from pen testing. So that would be assessing the security structure, a security posture of an organization, which is having a well-defined security defense system, right? So the team is the process of, let's say, validating the efficacy of people, technology, and process within an organization. So this is like a full scope assessment. The operators will be going for assessing all the aspects of your organization, and they'll be trying to get access via not only from your infrastructure, also via people, via social engineering, and also breaking into physical premises. So such are happening. But in short words, this is about identifying, understanding, and validating your security defenses for your organization, and also trying to improve it.
Yeah, very interesting. And now, when we are trying to improve these defenses, let's say I'm a student who has no background. So, what would be the first thing I should start off with when I want to be a red teamer?
So, this is again, if you're talking about AppSec, so people are not becoming application security experts from a day, weeks or days, right? So, they need to build knowledge about applications, how they work, what are the different types of application, what are the different I'm not talking that you need to be a programmer, but at least you need to have a knowledge about the functions and the working and the concepts of application, right? Then only you will be able to approach it in a secure manner, you need to build a security mindset, obviously. But before that, you need to understand what is the basic function of an application. So when it comes into offensive security or red teaming, you also need to understand different aspects of an organization. Let's say if you are focusing on social engineering, you need to understand how people think, how they will respond to a certain communication, such kind of things. If you're thinking about infrastructure or cloud, you need to understand the functioning of cloud, or the functioning of let's say Active Directory. So you need to understand how Active Directory works. You need to understand how to how a normal C2 server works, right? How the agents are communicating the servers. So you need to build knowledge on every aspect of security. Then you could concentrate on the offensive part of it. Many resources are out there. Many kind of methodologies are out there. Mitra is doing a very good job at building a very, very good structure for offensive security and attacks. And nowadays, many organizations are also focusing on adversary simulation, emulation, and such activities. So that is like doing a live fire exercise for your organization. Let's say your company invested a lot of money to buy in security tools. Let's say you bought an EDR product, you bought EPM, you bought an antivirus, you bought different set of firewalls, different set of DLP tools. Many tools are there, right? Web proxies. So also you need to validate the efficacy of these tools. Once you have a certain set of tools, defense tools, multi-million tools, that doesn't mean you are secure. So you need to validate the efficacy of these tools. You need to fine tune these tools to the maximum, right? Also, you need to test, the efficacy of your people who are, using these tools, who are taking care of these tools, whether they can be compromised via social engineering attack to get access to that organization. So also, adversary simulation makes sure, it can create a certain scenario, let's say mimicking the actions of an actual adversary, right? In that way, we could, create a lot of traffic, a lot of logs for these tools, and we could validate them, a kind of a purple teaming exercise, because purple teaming is kind of trending nowadays, right? Because that is very much efficient when it comes into the improvement of your internal security tools and internal process.
Right, interesting. And like when we are learning all of these things, what is your view around the certifications? And would you suggest some certifications which people can keep in their kitty when they are moving into this role, or when they are aspiring to be in this role?
See, about this, I do attend a lot of trainings. I do attend a lot of trainings. I do watch a lot of talks by a lot of awesome people in the security community. So that is one good way of learning things, because especially for the past 1.5 years, information overflow is there. So we could learn about anything which we want to, right? Everything is there. Everything is online, right? On the seconds, if you're talking about certification, certain organizations are, requesting to have certain certification for the candidates, so that they could make sure the candidate is having a certain amount of experience and knowledge, right? So there is one key part about certifications, and you can always start in a simple way, because before 10 to 15 years, there were no, I mean, I could say many mentors were there, but they were not that easily accessible. So nowadays, you could just open your browser, go to YouTube. Plenty of people are there. You could just open up an account in Twitter. You could follow a lot of awesome people, right? People are giving away awesome stuff. Giving away knowledge for free. And nowadays, we live in a world that people think knowledge should not be, expensive, right? So that's one way of doing it. But about certification, it is always good for obtain certification, to get employed. But it's always the skills that matter, because you need to spend a lot of man hours to train something, to become better at something, right?
Agreed,
So also,
agreed.
I always use this analogy of a martial art in every talks and something, because martial arts, when you step on a dojo, like, on the very first day, you will not learn anything, right? So you will just they will teach you how to take a fall. So then each day you'll have to spend hours of hours to train yourself, learning all the stuff. Day by day you will be getting better, right? And it's like how much you train, you'll be better. So that kind of approach would be applicable for the security industry as well. So about continuous learning and continuous sharing, and so that's how it should be.
Right. I am totally in line with it. And now, on top of it, let's say if someone who's already get into this career, because now they learn about it and they're joined a company. How exactly the career progression looks like? What are the leadership roles, or is it just an individual contributor role?
So it's like different organizations are having different set of roles and designations, right? So that doesn't matter, because when it comes into offensive security, uh, a different set of people are there. Operators will be there. They will be used taking care of all the offensive actions. Then security engineers will be there. They will be taking care of new tools, creation of new tools. Then project managers will be there. A offensive security lead will be there, right? Also, you need to be continuously in contact with the people who works at cyber defense for your organization. So certain levels of roles are there. At the same time, I don't know, in maybe in India or globally, we don't have a globally unique ranking system, right? Each organization is having their own ranking systems. So again, maybe different organizations are having different set of rules to uh, obtain career progress. Sometimes it's all about your working skills. Sometimes you'll have to pursue something other than your day job, right? Something you'll have to contribute more to the other activities which is happening in the organization. So many things are there. But when it comes to security teams, like, so let's say offensive or application security teams, I think the teams are very dynamic, because obviously we'll have to learn a lot of stuff. We'll have to share that with our teams. So internal knowledge transfer sessions and everything is very active with security teams. So that is my observation again. And for the analyst level, maybe for the pen tester or security analyst level, I think plenty of jobs are there. Plenty of jobs are there. Many organizations are hiring. Many new organizations are coming into the security industry. Many organizations are building their own security teams. So I mean, the talent is required, and a lot of companies are hiring people.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that these roles are coming up big time in different companies, and they specifically mentioned that we need red teamer. Now, one question around the same. Now, if you are a hiring manager or you are hiring director for a position, especially the red teaming one, what are the few things that you will look for in the CV or resume? Because resume is the first thing that comes into your screen, and then you decide whether we have to take further steps or not. So, what are the few things that you would look for in the resume?
So right now we are hiring for a senior or lead position for internal team. So again, it depends, because it depends on the requirement. Some cases, the offensive security person, he or she would be doing client-facing assessments, right? Sometimes they should be a part of an internal team. So task-wise, their job role changes. Also about the hiring part. So personally, I will be looking for the experience that person is having apart from the certifications, and he or she is finding extra time to contribute to the community. So that is on big plus point. They found time to write a new tool, new blog. They have they are doing talks for a certain community. I mean, it could be anyone, but they are finding the time to come up with a new research. So that is a main thing, right? Because I started the same way. Also, one big thing would be CTFs. Like, there are many hosted CTFs, platforms are there, services are there. If they are very much into CTF and whether they are interested in playing CTFs, so that is one thing. So then the basic understanding of stuff, because let's say if you are having a couple of certifications, but you are not aware of the basic understanding, like let's say how a multi-tier application works, or how would you approach a machine with EDR, AV, EPM, firewalls, then DLP, web proxies. So that would be the very first thing, whether they have that offensive mindset. Because so I don't believe, I don't personally like these know-it-alls, right? I mean, no one likes know-it-alls. That's another thing. But I mean, I also don't know anything about. I mean, somebody's asking anything about creating, writing your own shell programs. Maybe I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I have no experience in that, right? But I'm better at using them sometimes. So at the same time, for the interview, you don't have to aware of anything. You don't have to know about anything. But when the circumstance comes into play, when you get a chance, you'll need to have the ability to research about it and do it. So that's the only thing matters when you do, you know, when it comes into a job. So that's it. These are the basic things. Again, these are my personal observations.
Yeah, totally relevant. And before we part ways, can you please recommend some podcasts, newsletters, or books, or any talks that you really like and people should look at, or maybe a YouTube channel, a Twitter person that you feel that people should follow, especially for red teaming exercises, understanding how red teaming is done, or people are contributing to these CTFs. So if there's something that you can recommend,
Many
maybe
people
your
are
own
there. I
podcast.
cannot. Yeah, many people are there. I cannot name them because I miss someone. That's going to be a different issue. So many personal people are there. Many awesome people are there. They are doing a lot of contribution. You should just. First of all, you should. If someone new is listening to this, you should create a Twitter account. So that is the very first thing you'll have to do. Then you'll get into the track because a lot of awesome people are doing this. Because last year I bought a book. I'll show you something. I bought this book for a friend because it's written by Matthew, Hands on Hacking. This is this is an awesome book. Start from the
Mhm.
basics to the advanced, sections, in a technical manner. And for the red team operations, I like this one. This is written by Joe West, the team development and operations. It is written by Joe West. This is an awesome book. If you are an operator, if you are a managing person, even if you work in a SOC, this is a relevant book because everything is covered there. Even from the basics, let's say the mindset, the methodologies and concept, from there to the actual technical component. So that would be a good start. Joe is a nice guy. He's also writing a lot of stuff, right? So that would be one way. And about the podcast part, recently I think Philip Wiley is doing a lot of podcasts with awesome people. I personally like it very much. And Darknet there is a favorite one, and you should obviously watch Vandana's videos because a lot of couple of my favorite people are in her show, right? I have seen a lot of awesome people in India itself because we have a lot of awesome people in India. That's one thing. And recently, I started a podcast. It's called Tactical Advisory Podcast. There is a very very small attempt from my end, more focused on to the storytelling aspect of offensive security. So yeah, that's it for now. But a lot of thought, like I mentioned earlier, information overflow, right? So that is a right way to describe it. No, but because information security community in India that is growing, right? Is on its peak because many awesome people are. Because I think I have seen Vandana on the first time on Cocoon, right? Cocoon or then B-sides Delhi, right? So one of the benefit of infosec community is like the people in information security circle in India. So we get to see each other once in a year. Maybe that would be Cocoon or Nalcon, right? Two biggest conferences in India. So that would be the. I think I have met a lot of people in Cocoon and Nalcon. It's a different feeling. Like we could just the one of the power of community that would be we could reach out to one guy for his mentorship. That is pretty easy when it comes into information security community. So I have never seen such kind of communication between other technical communities. So there would be certain kind of let's say jealousy kind of elements would be introduced, right? But when it comes into information security communities in India, so I could reach out to reach out to you or Anand or anyone else in a phone call, right? So that is a power of infosec communities in India, and the conferences in India. They have played a big role in this. Just to introduce each other and get this thing going. So that is one important thing I just wanted to mention.
Yeah, I'm totally true, and it's actually true to this part because I am who I am just because of the information security community, and I could contribute this much because I have learned from the people around me. Yeah, information security community is so amazing, and all the peeps around us so supportive of each other. That's one amazing part.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. That's my point.
yeah. Thank you so much, Abhijit. It was wonderful to have you here and talk about red teaming.
Yeah, thank you, Vandana. Thank you for invitation, and yeah, thank you.
I look forward to meeting you again, and thank you for joining me.
Yeah, sure, sure, for sure.